Hello there, Mr. Galloway. I have a question for you, and I could mention numerous shameful things that you've said or done in the length of your ignoble career, but there's one recent one that comes to mind which is unforgivable. When you were interviewing Mr. Ahmadinejad for Press TV, did you not see any moral double standards at all in exploiting the plight of the Palestinian people, which, is a rightful cause, but at the same time having nothing to say in the defense of the secularists, females and minorities who are paying for the crime of wanting to be free in Iran? Do you have no sympathy, for example, for the Baha'is who are immiserated, oppressed, and massacred in the tenfold for the supposed crime of being apostates to Shia Islam? And as a seasoned demagogue with a dubious moral compass, I'm sure your answer will be as vague and vapid as it ever has been. But I can assure you that whichever answer you give, history will be the judge of you and your record, and I, for one, will not buy into it. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the welcome. I'm not sure how history will record you, perhaps munificently. But one of the benefits of a long and very public political career, which you describe as ignoble, although it seems to have attracted quite a lot of people to share some of my perspectives, is the fact that everything I have said and done is on the public record. On the public record in Hansard, over 25 years in Parliament, elected 6 times. That doesn't sound all that ignoble to me. And on the record on YouTube in 12,800 videos, none of which I put up myself. On the record on Google in millions of words, which I wrote myself. And if anyone cares to consult any of these records, they will not recognize the picture that you have painted. But let me concentrate on what I think is the nub of your question, which is Ahmadinejad. Ahmadinejad will cease to be the president of Iran in less than 6 months' time. In his neighborhood, that's a very unusual thing. The Prime Minister of Bahrain, which is currently butchering its democracy protesters using our weapons and gas, has been the Prime Minister of Bahrain since 1963. It's now 2012. He became the Prime Minister before the Beatles existed, and the Beatles are 40 years dead. He's the uncle of the king, who has the real power in Bahrain, a neighboring country. His family have ruled Bahrain for almost 300 years, since they were placed in power, taken actually from a different part of the region and placed in power in Bahrain by the British Raj more than 250 years ago. So it's unusual that Iran's president will cease to be the president. But what else is unusual is that Ahmadinejad was elected as the president of Iran. None of the leaders, especially of our best friends in the region, have ever been elected by anybody to anything. They're in power by virtue of the weapons that we gave them. Now, as should be obvious, I am not a supporter of the Islamic system in Iran. If I had a vote in Iran, it wouldn't go to Ahmadinejad. But I'm not an Iranian, and how Iran governs its affairs is the business of the people of Iran. Now, you talk about women, I can assure you, and if you don't believe me, just look at the television, that there are tens of millions of Iranian women support the Islamic Revolution and support its system. I don't myself, but they do, as watching television any Friday on the aforementioned Press TV, although you can't watch it in Britain, the land of the free, because it's been taken by the government off the Sky platform in the interests of liberty and freedom of expression, of course. You mention the Baha'is. I'll take your word for the immiseration of the Baha'is, although not the last time I looked. Most Baha'is in Iran are far from immiserated, but they are undoubtedly oppressed. I am against all oppression of any minority, whether religious or ethnic, or on grounds of sexual orientation, or any other form. Don't try and blame me for the imperfections, faults, crimes of the Islamic Republic of Iran. My interests collide or elide with the Islamic Republic of Iran only in this regard. I don't want our country to go to war with Iran, that's all. I'm happy to support revolution in Iran, reform in Iran, agitation in Iran by Iranians for an Iranian agenda. But I will never support my country sending its bombs to fall on Iran and on Iranian people, where, by the way, those bombs will not discriminate between men and women, between secular and Muslim, between Baha'is or gays or straights or any other discrimination. The bombs will fall on all Iranians. And I'm against it. And I'm inviting you to be against it too.